This world was ruled by women around 300 years ago. The new demon lord had something to say to all her servants. She made a rule that all males must obey the females and kneel before them. With this new declaration from the new demon lord, the world's rules have been changed. There's noise coming from a prisoner. A woman is torturing the prisoner, saying, "What is this? Even though you are chained to the wall in such an embarrassing pose, are you getting excited?" The prisoner is unable to endure the torture. The woman calls him a naughty boy and continues tormenting him. She tortures him until he gets bigger. This is a punishment. The man defied his mistress and escaped. It's a serious crime which is punishable. She will cut his meat. The prisoner tries, screaming no. The woman asks if he's ready. She cuts his meat and says, "Oh ho ho, this marks the 99th meat." The prisoner screams in pain. The woman licks it and says it looks wonderful, complimenting the taste. Nursing facility, Yggdrasil. An old man says his hips hurt so much when the weather is bad. A certain old man Geezer. A boy is trying to keep up with the old man. He rushes, saying, "Oh, you are here again." The old man asks who it is. The boy says he's Miguel who works here. Geezer tries to remember why he's here. Miguel says this is the 6th time the old man has asked the same question today. Miguel asks why Geezer wanders off when the weather is so bad, saying it's dangerous and he needs to go back to his room. Geezer calls Miguel Michael Kuhn and asks if there is an event today. Miguel corrects Geezer, saying his name is Miguel. He asks if he's referring to that and says they are recruiting slaves. The staff was called in as manpower too. They don't even care that they're also understaffed. The old man is staring and a woman stares back. Miguel says, "Female supremacy. It was the current demon lord's decision. They have no choice but to obey." Miguel tries reminding Geezer that they had the same conversation 6 times already. "You become a loser the moment you are born a male," Geezer says. "Men and women are fighting against each other. How lamentable." Miguel agrees, saying he heard that back in Geezer's era men and women were living together peacefully. Miguel points out that if Geezer-sama was still in office, this world surely would have been different. Geezer notices something coming and pushes Miguel far away from him. It's a lightning strike. Miguel is surprised that lightning struck, and he calls Geezer-sama. The lightning hit Geezer because he protected Miguel. Miguel didn't die, he says. "Phew, that's shocked, but it's a tickle compared to Granny's lightning." Miguel is stunned. Geezer is now young. He asks if Miguel is all right. Miguel wonders who the cool guy is and he's blushing. Geezer feels like his field of vision has gotten higher. Geezer asks what's wrong, saying Miguel is stunned as if he's seen a Medusa. Miguel takes out a mirror for Geezer to look at himself. Geezer looks at himself and he's in disbelief, saying, "What a handsome young man." He asks if he became young again. Miguel asks if he's Geezer-sama, wondering how he is feeling. Geezer says he's perfectly well, more than ever. His back and hips don't hurt anymore, saying what a wondrous thing. He decides to go, but Miguel tells him to stop. Geezer asks, "What is it?" They are at the edge of a branch. Miguel asks if he was trying to jump off as they're on top of the world tree, asking if he's trying to die. Geezer says since he became young again, he'll be fine. Miguel asks if he's not overestimating his young body a bit too much. He asks where Geezer was trying to go. Geezer says that goes without saying. He says the demon lord is wrong and that women and men need to get along with each other. Geezer jumps off, saying he's going to give her a lecture as her senior. Miguel is left surprised that Geezer really jumped off. Geezer El Garcia was the man who unified the world and united the demons. The demon lord of 2 generations ago. Miguel is surprised by Geezer's physical ability. He thinks he hurt his feet. Town near Yggdrasil, Tirago. It's been so long since Geezer was outside. In the old days, there were many wooden structures and the area was full of nature. The city has changed a lot. Furthermore, female, female, female. There are females everywhere. It's not that I'm complaining. He doesn't know if it's because there are no males around, but they're all wearing such revealing clothes. He cheers for them being bold, saying, "How shameless." He feels it's very nice. There are beautiful females everywhere. It's almost like he's in heaven. A woman stares at him and Geezer changes his mind, saying it's a hell disguised as heaven. A woman says, "It's male," asking what he's here for. They need to inform Chloe-sama. The current Demon Lord should be in the Demon Lord's castle. Jizer remembers the Demon Lord's castle being built ahead back in his days. It's been several hundred years. He doesn't know the situation and the strength of the current Demon Lord's army, but it shouldn't affect him at all. He's surprised and looks around. He remembers a path where he is. He greets a woman standing around, saying, "Hello, lovely young lady," asking if she can tell him about the city over some tea. She looks at him with a face of disgust. The woman runs away, saying, "It's a stray male." Jizer is left surprised, saying, "Hey." He feels she shouldn't have refused him like that. He sobs. He looks at his hands, surprised, and a pair of handcuffs suddenly falls from the sky. A beast guy attacks him, pinning him down, and Jizer asks, "What is it this time?" These are the guys Jizer saw back in Yggdrasil. A woman says she found herself a stray male. This will mark the special 100th meet. She orders the beast guy to take Jizer to the castle. He feels he got caught up in something weird, but this is a good opportunity for him. He's now another prisoner. He tells the woman she's handling an old man and she should be careful. She responds, asking, "Old man? You're a liar on top of being a male." She says he's beyond saving. Jizer says he's not lying and asks the woman who she is. She asks if he doesn't know who she is. She introduces herself. Her name is Chloe, the law enforcers of this city. She continues, saying what a blunder. To think that there's a non-castrated stray man roaming around the city. Jizer is confused why she keeps saying stray male. Chloe mentions that she's going to be in a lot of trouble if those from the Demon Lord's army learn about what happened. Jizer wonders if they're currently in the Demon Lord's castle. He thinks he made the right move letting them catch him. He asks what's a stray male. She asks him if he doesn't have a mistress. Jizer is still confused. Chloe says when a male slave goes out, their mistress will always accompany them. It's the rule. Jizer stares deeply at Chloe. He says he's a country bumpkin asking her to tell him more. He says a long time ago, although there were differences, men and women were equal. He asks what happened, why are men and women no longer equal? Chloe asks what era Jizer is talking about, and she points out she's a kind person, so she'll tell him out of obligation. Around 300 years ago, a certain female demon eliminated the Demon Lord and reigned as the new Demon Lord. The Demon Lord's name is Mia Garcia. Jizer appears stunned. It's the same surname as his, but he cannot remember who it is. Chloe continues, saying the Demon Lord then said all males must obey the females and kneel before them. At that moment, the males were put under a curse. It was a curse that took away magic power. All the males lost most of their magic power. The leaders of all the major organizations in the world were replaced by females. The males surrendered and chose to live as slaves. Chloe asks if her explanation is clear enough for a country bumpkin to understand. Jizer agrees. At the moment, he needs as much information as he can gather. In order to do that, he needs to dominate Chloe. With his current self, he can... Chloe gets her tongue out and says, "Now then." She grabs his meat and Jizer is surprised at what's going on. Chloe gets closer to him, asking if he's ready to get his meat cut off. Chloe continues grabbing Jizer's meat and saying from here on it'll be her playtime. Those rebellious eyes. Making males like Jizer submit brings her the greatest pleasure. She summoned her lizard man's great scissors. Jizer is surprised a pair of scissors suddenly appeared. Chloe says it's her unique magic. She can summon torture tools. She lets Jizer know that the lizard man's great scissors are often used on people who try to assassinate the Demon Lord, saying it's a torture tool to cut off fingers or meats. Jizer asks what's with her terrifying torture tool. Chloe asks Jizer to take out his meat and she'll cut it in a flash. He says, "That's quite a hobby you have." Unfortunately, he doesn't like pain, so he'll have to refuse. Chloe is surprised he broke the handcuffs. She says, "Ufufu," and says he's so vigorous. She loves that kind of man. She attacks him and he grabs the torture tool. It's been a while since he was in combat. He's getting a bit rusty, however, this kind of attack is nothing. She grins at Jizer and she's now ready to attack. Jizer is surprised there's another pair. She says she got him. She uses her tool to cut his meat, but the torture tool snaps in two. She's surprised and Jizer stares with a satisfied expression. She's unable to process what happened, asking how hard his meat is. Jizer responds, saying, "Humph." He tells her not to underestimate his rejuvenated meat. He tells her she can estimate it if she wants. Chloe is really angry. She says this is the first time she stumbled upon a meat like his. Making him submit is going to be worthwhile. She uses her slaves to attack Jeezer. He gets ready to put up a fight. The slaves hold on to him tighter. Chloe keeps telling them to hold Jeezer tighter. She says even if he can break her tool, he won't be able to break free from her slave's superpower strength. He screams in pain. She thinks of what to do next since his arms are now sealed. Jeezer compliments the slave's strength, saying it's amazing. However, it was foolish to approach him. He snaps his fingers and the slaves are now laying down on the floor. Jeezer mentions that though it did make for good exercise after several hundred years. Chloe is stunned. The slaves were instantly. Jeezer asks if she wants to know what happened. He says he didn't have any magic power when he was born. To compensate for that, he trained his body and mastered a certain martial art. Jeezer walks closer to Chloe and she appears afraid now. He taps her chest and tells her to feel it with her own body. She wonders what he's trying to do as he keeps tapping her chest. She feels he pulled out a bone from her chest. El Garcia style. Bone extracting martial art. Jeezer says he pulled out one of the 48 love bones. Ecstasy. He crushes it while she's looking. She twitches and now she suddenly feels hot. She's burning up. Something is tingling deep inside her body and she wonders what it is. Jeezer just smiles. Chloe feels hot and it aches and she squeezes herself. She can't reach through her clothes. She's now sweating too much and dripping all over the place. She feels good when she touches where it's hot and she wants more. She is now wondering why she's playing with herself in front of Jeezer. She says, but it feels good. She can't stop her hand. El Garcia style. Bone extracting martial art. It is a legendary art that directly extracts extremely small love bones, found in 48 locations throughout the body without hurting them. When a man falls in love with a woman and is unable to demonstrate his true ability, they often say he had his backbone taken out by her charms. This is the origin of this technique, excerpted from the Love and Bones Are Alike by Jeezer El Garcia. He drops the remaining bone dust, guessing the stimulation is a bit too strong for a newbie. She says it doesn't feel good at all and that she won't lose to a man. Her slaves stop her and she's now surprised at what's going on. She feels something is off. Her slaves are now starving. She tells them to stop as she's their mistress. She's now scared. Her slaves are now pinning her down and she's being humiliated. Jeezer is just staring. He says as he thought, it didn't work out as intended for her against the beast folk. Their feelings of it are stronger than feelings of love. She asks for help. Jeezer calls the beast folk slaves and says he'll play with them. He snaps his fingers and chains appear on the slaves. One of the slaves swings the chain at Jeezer. Jeezer compliments them that they decided to keep their distance and it looks like they understood that their bones will get extracted if they get close to him. Approaching beast folk isn't easy. However, he's actually super strong. He swiftly attacks them and he's now carrying 2 bones. He pulled out the eruption bone of love bones from the 2 slaves, and when he crushes the bones they'll spray uncontrollably. Eruption bone will make them gush out or fluid until nothing is left. Incidentally, the release of gushing fluid is called squirting. Excerpted from the Memories of the Whale and I by Jeezer El Garcia. The slaves are now on the floor. Jeezer feels it's the right treatment for males in heat. He reassures them that they won't die from this. Chloe calls Jeezer and asks for his name. He responds, saying he's Jeezer. She gets closer, touching his face. Then she kisses him. Love bones don't just weaken the target. By giving strong feelings to a newbie who hasn't experienced much. Chloe now asks Jeezer to be her master. She fell in love with the one who extracted her love bone. The moment Jeezer pulled out her love bone, she was already his. He felt a bit uncomfortable since he's technically controlling her. He tells her that when she regains her senses, she can slap him and she mustn't cut off his thing. Love bones will regenerate after one night. She calls him, saying his hair. Jeezer's hair is turning back to white. He wonders if it could be that the rejuvenation has a time limit. He needs to hurry. The world is currently messed up. Women and men need to get along with each other. He needs to give a lecture to that young un. Now, he's pressed for time. He asks her to lead him to the demon lord right away. She says she cannot and she appears sad. She says the demon lord is already. The demon lord has already been relocated. Jeezer is confused that the demon lord is not in the castle. The handcuffs fall off his hands, and Jeezer feels it's nice to be outside. Chloe says Demon Lord Miyasama used to live in the city. However, a few years ago, she moved to the Osarasha Kingdom. Jeezer complains, saying it's far. Osarasha Kingdom is a remote region located at the edge of the Halo continent. Surrounded by icebergs, the kingdom is said to be home to high-level monsters. Jeezer questions why the Demon Lord lives there. Chloe apologizes for not being able to take him to the Demon Lord. She says as a law enforcer she'll rectify to Jeezer as his personal guard. She replaces her armband. She says she failed to fulfill Jeezer's order, so she's unworthy as a slave. She asks him to give her a punishment. Jeezer says he won't, asking her to put the lewd rope away. He says the Osarasha Kingdom is far. However, it won't be a problem for him because he has a talented servant. With noble blood and jet black fur, his partner once ran 10,000 miles a day on the roadless road. Chloe is left wondering about the partner Jeezer is talking about. Jeezer says, "Come forth, raging demon chariot Morpheus," snapping his fingers. Nothing happens and he just smiles. He snaps his fingers over and over again, and it gets weird. Chloe says, "Sorry to tell him, but according to Macapia, the one he's referring to passed away around 200 years ago. Jeezer is surprised. To think it has dried before him, he says he's been living for too long. Chloe calls Jeezer master, asking how he knew about the demon hero from the past, saying even if it were still alive, it's not a monster that can be used by ordinary citizens. He says it's because he decides not to tell because things will get complicated if she knows that he used to be the demon lord. He tells her he didn't think of it, he let his 8th grader syndrome slip out. Chloe responds, saying, "Oh ho ho ho, you are funny, master." He can't believe she got fooled by that. Jeezer suddenly feels pain. Chloe notices and rushes to him. He falls down, and Chloe asks what's wrong. He says, "My back?" He asks her to let him lie down for a bit. They need to find a safe place. Chloe suggests they get a nearby inn, and while they're there, they might as well do all sorts of stuff. She says it's her first time, asking him to be gentle. She doesn't have experience, but she knows the necessary techniques. Jeezer says he'll do his best to satisfy her. She asks to suck it off, but since she's not used to it, she might bite it off by accident. Chloe is daydreaming. She looks at Jeezer and sees an old man. She's surprised who the elderly man is. Jeezer realizes that he returned to being a geezer. Chloe looks around, calling Jeezer, asking where he went. Jeezer wonders if the time is already up before he could achieve anything. He guesses it can't be helped since it's how nature works. Chloe is still calling Jeezer-sama. Jeezer wonders how he's going to get to the Demon Lord's place. He decides he'll go to the bazaar and look for a mount creature. He tries remembering where the bazaar was. Chloe already left, so he can't ask her. Jeezer notices the goblin shop that sells rice crackers is still open. He guesses some of the old stuff still remains. He's walking closer to the dragon. A girl shouts, telling him to watch out. She saves him. She asks if he's okay and says it's dangerous to cross the street on his own, so she'll carry him. Jeezer thanks her. He says he's glad to know that there's still a kind person. He hears a tingling and wonders why it feels somewhat nostalgic and questions why it feels so comfortable. The girl tells him to be careful on the way. He thanks her, and she says, "Don't mention it. She's from a noble lineage after all. It's her job. She has matters to attend to, so she excuses herself, saying goodbye." He says what a kind lady, and he hears a bell. A woman says, 82. Is there anyone else? Nightmare is sold for 82. He realizes it's an auction hall for mount creatures. A woman is talking to the girl that saved Jeezer. She says it's her turn next and she should be sure to find a buyer. She'll grill her if she doesn't. The girl says she can leave it to her. A woman says, the girl is today's featured product. The girl cheers, and the price starts at 500 gold. Jeezer notices it's the lady who saved him. She keeps saying she's from a noble lineage, and the price starts at 500 gold. The presenting woman says the price starts from 1 silver. The lady is surprised it's cheap. Jeezer is unable to believe she was the product. Other women in the crowd walk away. Jeezer notices the atmosphere suddenly changes. He wonders why no one shows interest in the lady and thinks about how her price is cheaper. The lady says it's a bargain if they buy now. She's from a rightful lineage. She can sing and dance. She says she doesn't eat too much either. She's very cheap to keep. There's no one in the crowd cheering for her. The woman shows her a sign saying sold or grilled, telling her to pick. The lady says she looks very cute. She has big melons and an outstanding style. She says she can be a partner at night too. She asks them to buy her. Jeezer asks a woman near him why no one is making an offer for the lady. The woman says he'll see soon enough. The lady is eating a banana. The lady says she forgot to transform. The lady makes a fake transformation, saying, "Gash in." Jeezer is watching, wondering why she's drawing her hands and feet into her clothes. QQ. High mobility ground type mole tank. Morpheus. Jeezer turns back. He's no longer a geezer. He sees a gallant face, jet black fur, and the captivating fluffy body. He has no doubt about it. He says she's his soulmate, calling out Morpheus. The lady says with her being big, they can ride and relax on top of her fluffy body. She feels hungry and starts munching a cloth. The woman tells her not to destroy the stage. The lady ate the cloth and felt it's delicious. She looks around, and it's now empty. Everyone ran away. She's surprised she did it again. The woman who said she'll grill her appears angry. She slaps her, saying, "You useless junk! You destroyed the stage. How are you going to make up for this?" The woman gives her the invoice. She tells her she's useless and no one would buy her as a product. She adds that she eats 100 times more than others. The woman unleashes her magic, saying it's better to sell her as grilled meat. The lady is afraid. The youngest of 3 siblings was her. Her mother often told them the story of the demon lord. A long time ago, their grandpa used to serve the demon lord. The demon lord was a wonderful person. Her mother would tell the story proudly. She wanted to become the demon lord's chariot too. Even when she got kidnapped and became alone, even when she got wet from the bad weather, even when starving, even when the others said she's junk because of her blunders. She's been living her life supported by her dreams and the blood that runs through her. To think it ends here. She calls the demon lord Sama. The woman blasts her magic to kill her. She says at least she'll be useful as food for the slaves. The woman appears surprised. Birch. The woman says, "Sensei?" Jeezer tells her not to get mad. It'll make her wrinkles grow. He tells her to eat that and calm down. She asks who he is. He says, "The appearance of a cool guy, the heart of a geezer." He introduces himself, saying he's a no-jake-san passing by. No-drike, referring to a certain group of people who end their sentences with ja or noja. The so-called ikemen or handsome man, who speaks like an old man, princess, or deity has been loved by the masses since ancient times. As a side note, the most famous theory about the origin of ikemen is that he was a famous martial arts master named Ikemen, but the fact that he ended his sentences with Aru is not well known. Excerpted from the My Popularity is Like the Seven Treasure by Jeezer L. Garcia. The woman asks what no Jake-san is. She is now filled with rage, saying a mere male dares to get in her way. Jeezer asks the lady if she didn't like the senbei from the goblin shop. As to him, it tasted so good. He mentions it returned his youth. The lady feels, for some reason she feels safe when Jeezer is near her. She eats the senbei and she agrees it's delicious. The woman is currently not in the mood. Not only did she catch a weird guinea pig, but her slave has also escaped. Her anger won't subside until she has burnt everything to dust. The lady tells her that it's not her fault that her slave escaped. The lady suggests Jeezer runs away since he's a male. He asks why. The lady says her master is a fire magician. Her firepower increases with her anger level. She says he'll be grilled along with her if he doesn't run. She's happy he tried to save her, but he won't be able to win against her. She urges him to run. The lady apologizes to her master, saying it's her fault for eating too much and asking her to spare Jeezer. Jeezer just stares around. The lady apologizes for eating the other product's food and the slave's food too. She's also sorry for eating the cake that her master was looking forward to. Jeezer says she's completely at fault, but tells her not to worry. He's extremely strong and can defeat her master without hurting her. The master attacks them, saying, "Burn to ashes." Jeezer is now trying to figure out where the woman's bones are. He uses his Jeezer eyes. All her bones are stained black. He guesses permeated into her bones is the correct term. Furthermore, he can feel a strong hatred in her magic power, wondering why. The lady says her master used to be kind. However, she became quick to anger as her magic grew stronger. Jeezer says he sees. The males weren't the only ones that were crushed by the demon lord. She awakened the males by taking away their magic power and strengthened the females by bestowing them with vile magic power. He says if that's how the demon lord did things, then there's only one solution. The woman attacks again, and she says he keeps dodging her attacks, asking him to hurry and die already. Jeezer blocks the flames with his bare hands. Then El Garcia-style bone-extracting martial art. He pulls out the defiled bones, one by one, until every one of them has been taken out. He tells her he pulled out one of her 48 love bones, the wise bone. The woman is now on her knees. The lady asks what just happened. The woman asks what did he do, feeling something is off. She feels like her body is being stimulated by something invisible. Every part of her body is becoming sensitive. Jeezer says cuckoo. Then she'll orgasm after he crushes this bone. She'll enter the sage mode. The woman says, let's continue with the transaction. The lady is surprised her master is back to herself. The woman asks Jeezer if he wants the lady, saying she wants to let go of her since there are no other buyers for her at the moment, but taking into account all the damage reimbursements, it would be ideal if he covers all expenses. Daily food expenses plus food for other products and slaves that she ate plus her hidden snacks. Food expenses, 36 gold. Clothes, 5 gold. Repair expenses, 17 gold. Miscellaneous costs, 16 gold. She wants to at least recover her loss even if she can't make a profit. Her offer is 82 gold coins. Jeezer is surprised that it's so expensive, the same price as Nightmare. She shows the billing amount to the lady too. The woman says if he promises to treasure the lady, then she scratches the amount and gives him a special discount of 10 gold coins. The lady is happy and looks grateful. The woman says profiting is important as a merchant, but the happiness of her product is also important. Jeezer realizes that's her original expression. The lady feels her master does make a good expression. Jeezer tells her it's all right, she doesn't need to add the discount. He says he'll pay the full price. The lady says he's generous. Jeezer looks for his wallet and finds nothing. He realizes he came empty-handed. He jumped in the spur of the moment. He used all his pocket change to buy the rice crackers. Now that it's come to this, he'll trade the kimono. Chloe suddenly appears, saying she came to investigate the ruckus, but it has been settled already. She asks where Jeezer-sama is. Jeezer notices her and calls her saying, "Oh, Chloe." She's happy to see him. He says she came at a nice timing. She asks what's the situation. Jeezer is showing off his meat to the girls. Chloe suddenly summons her torture tools and yells. Jeezer's meat belongs to her. He's surprised and scared, saying, wait, try to calm down first. Chloe asks if in order to buy a mount, he exchanges his clothes instead of money. She says he should have told her from the start. He says, well. The woman says all of his clothes are high-end products. Hardly any merchant can afford to buy them. So she also felt undeserving and had to decline. Jeezer now feels embarrassed. The woman asks who the person is. Jeezer says his name is Gigi, and he introduces Chloe. The woman is Flame the merchant. She says it's an honor for her to meet Chloe, the famous meat hunter. Jeezer asks if she's famous because of stuff like that. The lady says her name is ZZ Morpheus. Chloe asks if he can't access the demon bank to the point of bartering. Jeezer asks what it is. She says if he registers his magic power with financial institutions, he can use their services anytime, anywhere. Even guys with minimal magic abilities can use it too. Jeezer says he always relies on others for finances because he doesn't have any magical powers at all. He's born without any magical powers. Chloe is surprised and asks if that means he's been always paying in cash. She says they're living in a cashless era now, so they don't need to bother with physical money anymore. When Jeezer thinks back to the last time he bought senbei, the merchant seemed hesitant too. The merchant called the cash manager saying there's a customer paying with coins that look like counterfeit money. Commemorative coins from the 10th year of Demon King Gigi's reign. He told them it's real money. Chloe asks what she can do. Jeezer tells her to wait. He doesn't have money, he just makes it himself. For example, Delivery Health. Delivery Health/Darahiru is a special service available in Japan for the health of adults. In essence, it's similar to calling girls. Chloe and the Flame Merchant are surprised. He says now the practical training will begin. Jeezer says they'll be delivering healthy foods like salads. Chloe and the Flame Merchants were thinking something else if you know. He says when he was walking around the town, he realized that home delivery services are really popular. If he runs something like that in this female-dominated world, it will surely succeed. ZZ Morpheus raises her hand. saying, hey. She says she loves eating and making food herself. She'll borrow the ingredients in the kitchen. She imagines apologizing for making them wait, and Chloe saying the food looks delicious. ZZ Morpheus says she's skilled in making both heavy and healthy meals. She's definitely lying. The flame merchant says ZZ Morpheus can make tasty meals in such a short time. In that case, Jeezer asks for a little more time to gather money. She says as long as he pays, she doesn't mind. ZZ Morpheus asks if they know it won't be easy. Limited edition, the delivery health officially begins. Chloe says there's an order from the Demon Bulletin Board. Jeezer is impressed with how technology these days is really advanced. He thanks her for helping. She says it's only natural for her to help him. They're ready to divide the tasks and deliver the orders to the customers. Jeezer wears a bucket so he won't be recognized as a man. The girls are ready. An order is ready to get delivered, and the customer says they really came quickly. She's been starving for so long. ZZ Morpheus is drooling on the customer's order. She tells the customer to take their order. The deliveries continued until the sun set. Jeezer didn't expect it to become so popular within just half a day. ZZ Morpheus says today was really busy. Chloe says there were a few complaints from customers saying, the food is delicious, but that glasses-wearing kid drooled on the meal. She's surprised. She apologizes, saying sometimes she gets tempted by the food as she worked hard to cook it too. She asks them not to take offense. Jeezer feels he's personally satisfied with today's work. He's asked if he doesn't do anything inappropriate other than delivering. Chloe feels it's quite difficult to make money this way. After deducting food costs, the profit is very little. She feels if it continues like this, how long will it take to reach their goal? She decides to leave, saying she'll be back in a moment. Morpheus wanna come with her. Morpheus and Chloe are now ready to deliver, and they don't get any response from the customer, wondering if maybe they're out. Morpheus feels hungry. Chloe tells her to be patient for a bit. Chloe questions if there's anyone inside. She yells, saying they're here to deliver an order. Morpheus notices someone and tells Chloe to look. She says, "Grandma." She says the grandma fainted. She's gasping for breath. Chloe says she can help right away, and she makes a call. Morpheus is telling the grandma to hang in there, and she sobs. Chloe says, "What the hell?" Morpheus asks what's wrong, and Chloe asks if she knows there was a huge lightning strike in the morning. Due to the damage caused by it, they're short-staffed, and for the time being, no one can come to help. Morpheus says, "No way." Chloe can't turn a blind eye when she sees people in distress. Even though all she can do is summon torture tools, she can't use healing magic. She thinks about what to do. Morpheus suggests they take her to the hospital immediately. Chloe says from their location they have to cross the forest first if they want to reach the hospital. Judging by her current condition, she might last only 30 minutes. Even if they summon a horse carriage or a magical creature taxi, the journey would take more than an hour and a half. If only there was a faster way they could use. Morpheus says, that's it, the estimated distance from their location to the depths of the forest is 50 kilometers. Morpheus asks if they have to pass it by 30 minutes. Pukyu. Morpheus transforms. Chloe says, "Amazing Morsan." Morpheus says running is a skill she's very good at, even more than cooking. Surpassing dragons and even wyverns, she's faster than any riding creatures she's ever seen. Morpheus makes a quick stop. Chloe asks why they suddenly stopped. The road. Chloe says there shouldn't be a gorge in this forest, asking Morpheus to be careful. ZZ Morpheus is afraid of heights. The grandma coughs. Chloe feels they don't have time to take a detour. She wonders if there's something like a bridge that could connect their path. She comes up with the idea of a bridge. She asks Morpheus to knock down some trees around. She says it's not possible to create a bridge with such a distance. Chloe says they can if they work together. Morpheus says she doesn't understand, but okay. She knocks down the trees. Chloe unleashes a torture rope to build a bridge. A bridge is then created. Chloe says binding is one of her skills. Morpheus is still afraid. Chloe tells her to stay strong and she can do it. At the hospital, Grandma asks if they're the ones who saved her. Chloe agrees, saying she doesn't know what happened, but she's glad Grandma is okay now. Grandma thanks them. She says delivery health, right? She says she contacted them after seeing it on the bulletin board. It seems like a very good decision. She's been waiting for them. They give her the order and apologize for the food being messed up. Chloe says they'll prepare a new one right away, asking her to wait a moment. Grandma eats the food. Chloe and Morpheus stare while she eats. Grandma says it's delicious. Ordering was indeed the right choice. She says if she's not mistaken, the service is only available at certain times. She asks if there's a reason behind it. ZZ Morpheus says the service is being done so Gigi-sama can buy her. Chloe says she got it all wrong. Chloe covers her mouth. She says they're doing it because they need money. Therefore, they'd really appreciate it if she orders from them again. She asks how much money they need. Chloe whispers into her ear and she says, oh my, you must be really struggling. She says in that case, as a token of her gratitude, she'll give them a tip. Chloe thanks her. Chloe and Morpheus look at the amount Grandma sent and it's 100 gold coins received. They are surprised that she sent 100 gold coins, asking if she didn't send it by mistake. She says they saved her life and asks them to accept the good intention from her, a grateful person. They are both grateful. Grandma says she heard he entered a facility after having mental disturbances. She didn't expect he's still alive. Meanwhile, Gigi is complaining about the thermal that keeps ringing. He wonders if Chloe and Morpheus are still not done. He's never cooked before. He asks the flame merchant if she knows how to cook. She says she hasn't either. He tells her to lower the heat. He